Hi, I'm Javi Moreno, and welcome to another section, another night of Latino Theater Company Live. Today, we're going to be discussing La Víctima and why you should come and see this fabulous, historic Chicano play brought to you live, virtually here on this platform. If you don't know already, we had it premiered last night. On YouTube and our Facebook page, and you're able to watch it all the way to September 24th. All the way to September 24th. You can watch it at any time. You can watch it at 1 a.m., 6 a.m., 5 p.m., all the way into September 24th at 11:59. We will remove that showing. Coming up, we have Sleep with the Angels, written by Evelina Fernandez, directed by Jose Luis Valenzuela. That is a new play that was scheduled to premiere at our theater at the LATC. It'll be up for a reading on demand September 18th through September 27th. Plus, we'll have home archival screening September 22nd to October 1st. And next Friday, we'll have an on-demand reading live of Just Like Us by Karen Zacarias, and directed by Fidel Gomez. That will be on demand September 25th to October 4th. You still have an opportunity to watch This Is a Man's World, written and performed by Sal Lopez, directed by Jose Luis Valenzuela. That goes all the way until tomorrow, September 17th. And you can still watch the reading of She. It's a beautiful reading. You can play it. We've had some great comments that people just played it on their phone, listen to the words, and that you can watch anytime until September 20th. Plus, all of our conversations are up on our website and our YouTube page. So you can watch that and all the information on youtube.com/live or Latino Theater at the LATC.org/live. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guests here today. Hello. We are joined by Marta Hernandez. She's executive director of Californians Together. Also was an original former member of El Teatro de la Esperanza. We have Evelina Fernandez, current member of the Latino Theater Company. You can see her new play, Sleep with the Angels, starting this Friday, who's also a former member of Teatro de la Esperanza. And Romelia Morales, a teacher, is that right?
That's right.
On Zoom?
Yeah, we're Zooming.
Oh,
yes.
She's Zooming. She's had a busy day, all day Zooming, and she's joining us today.
Yes,
Also a former member of Teatro de la Esperanza. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Great.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's in this strange world of bringing live or bringing theater virtually from our home at LATC to people's homes. So it's really a mi casa es tu casa type vibe for live theater. Did you all were able to catch the show last night? The premiere of it?
I did. I watched it.
You watched it? Awesome. And so remind me again, were you, all three of you, a part of, not of the original production, but at one point part of wrote it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we wrote it. Collective creation. Yes. Yeah.
Well, Marta and Romelia wrote it. I just acted in it.
along with other members that are not here.
Can you tell us a little bit about that process? How did that start? And why write this play at that time?
At that time, the Teatro de la Esperanza, we were doing a lot of Luis Valdez's actos, and we had actually members of our company had written actos. And so there was this kind of desire to do something deeper where we could really, have characters with depth and more something like a full-length play. And so under the tutelage of Dr. Jorge Huerta, he took us through the process of collective creation, and we selected a topic that was kind of very real to us in Santa Barbara County at the time. And coming from a city, Guadalupe, where they were going to be arresting 3 parents, for advocating for their children in school. And of course, there was a lot of corporal punishment in the school at that time. And so we decided to use that as our content. And Jorge, was very much into Bertolt Brecht, and he took us. We didn't have a playwright. We didn't have a company playwright like the like the LTC has, Evelina. So we then, began to improvise around the content, and we wrote scenes and developed, of course, this play Guadalupe. And after Jorge left, we took the lessons that he taught us. And there was really a lot of immigration issues, a lot of deportation at the time. It was a centennial of the United States. And so we then embarked on writing La Víctima.
Right.
So, do you want to add to that?
Well, I recall way back when at UC Santa Barbara, when we were, I was not a drama major. I'm an educator. But we went to the protests. We went to the jail in Santa Barbara where they were arresting the parents, a couple of the parents from Guadalupe who had protested in the board meeting, the education board meeting, and then they received an arrest at their house. They went and arrested them. So we went to protest because they were being jailed in the Santa Barbara jail. So that's how Guadalupe got us and interested in that in that topic, that play. And Jorge, yes, like she said, directed us. Again, I was just very willing and very open to whatever Jorge says. Write this, okay, I'll write this. Act this, okay. Sing this, okay. With his wife, Ginger. So we were very fluid, but also with a lot of openness to flap our wings and fly, and be creative. From my perspective, as
one of the things I have to say about our group is that we were very, very disciplined. And so we started our rehearsals on time. We rehearsed even when we were students, it was 3-4 nights a week. We dedicated weekends, and there was no protest. There was nobody saying, this is too much. We were very dedicated and thinking that this work we were doing was contributing to the Chicano movement, and that we were doing our part, for the movement, making people aware. And that whole thing of, if the audience doesn't come to you, you have to go out to the audience. And so we made sure that our play was very portable and didn't need very elaborate sets. And also, I have to say, I just remember something that in terms of the play, we all directed, we all acted, we all critiqued. We're very good at critiquing. We all directed. But I have to say that Jose Salcedo and I, he wasn't necessarily the best student, but we were studious. And we would go to the library and we studied about immigration. And it was Jose and I who came up with the quotes for the play. And I remember writing you go to the library and you couldn't check out some of these books, but we wrote them on 3x5 cards, and we had a big stack, and we had to kind of decide, what would move the play forward, and what would really kind of. And so I have very fond memories of being maybe the only one that Jose really studied with, and we were doing research. And that is just a really great memory that I have of spending hours and hours with Jose researching immigration.
Wow, I go ahead, Romelia.
In addition to the researching, nobody told us you write the lyrics, you write the play. It just kind of happened, and we eventually found out who had a strength, like in writing the lyrics. Estela Campos is not here, but she and I would write the lyrics to these songs, and that were an introduction to the scene. Nobody told this other person write the play, write the script, but we knew who couldn't. We knew who had a little weakness, but it just happened, and we embraced it. Go ahead.
Yeah. I as hearing you all speak, I got chills. But just thinking, last night when I was watching, and I'll go into the question of to Evelina on this. I was watching, and I started seeing just the power, and I want to thank you all for that work that you did at that time, because to be thinking that we're, that the Latino Theater Company not only produced this production last year also, but for years, and bringing it to the homes, right? Like this time it's like we're just bringing it to the people online, and for free. But also, as I was watching last night, there were several comments both on YouTube and Facebook of, I did this in 1993 up in University of Madison, Wisconsin. I played this. So I did this in San Antonio. I did this in San Diego. And to still, right now, currently, to still be talking about those issues and how this play is still relevant is just thank you. And I think that, as you say about the work ethic and just that foundation of Teatro de la Esperanza to launch also, members of the Latino Theater Company. Evelina, at what you came into El Teatro de la Esperanza with La Víctima?
Well, we did several plays that Esperanza had written. We did Hijos, and we did La Víctima. But I remember the first time I saw La Víctima, it was at Inner City Cultural Center in Los Angeles, and I heard El Teatro de la Esperanza was going to perform, and I went to see them, and I was just blown away by their professionalism, by how disciplined they were. I mean, that show was so tight and so clean, and it was, and then of course the subject matter, was relevant then, is relevant now, and maybe relevant for many, many generations to come. Yeah. And I was just blown away to see, Marta and Romelia and Estela and Jose Saucedo, my compadre, in that play, and it just really. It really like changed the way I looked at Chicano theater, because before that, all I knew was El Teatro Campesino, but El Teatro Campesino is about farm workers, and people from LA were very urban. That we understood it, but it wasn't really what our realities were. So to see this play just really way and they talk about the American theater canon. We always talk about La Víctima being a Chicano theater classic, which it is, along with Luis Valdez's stuff.
Wow.
But I think that it's also an American theater, part of the American theater canon, I don't see it as something separate and apart, because it is, part of the American theater movement. And, even though it's part of the Chicano movement, it's also part of the American theater movement.
Yeah. And this was with looking at the press, this was one of the first play the Latino Theater Company ever did also, right?
Yeah, it was the first play we did at the LATC.
At the LATC.
Okay. Yeah, because before that we were a lab. We never did a real play on the main stage. And Jose Luis finally got the opportunity to direct on the main stage. Of course, he chose La Víctima. We chose La Víctima because it's such a powerful play, and it was great. I mean, got great reviews, and amazing that we did the play. And talk about Jorge Huerta and the influence that he had on all of us, and we're still, I mean, even the plays that we do after 35 years, I feel, are influenced by El Teatro de la Esperanza and Dr. Jorge Huerta. Yeah.
Wow, so powerful. I remember last year, I don't know if any of you attended, but Jose Luis wanted to take, and the company wanted to take La Víctima out back into the community, and we went to South Central, East LA, San Fernando Valley, Oxnard. as Marta, as you were mentioning, taking it to the community. I mean, like, we're used to the theater at the LATC being packed, but I mean, we did it in South Central, packed, people with their phones, and it's like, and we're talking about, this time, like, I mean, it's so powerful. What does it feel like to all of you that it's still being, right, it's still relevant, but also even in how we're producing it right now for these next 10 days on demand, that it's virtual, that these stories, that there's still an audience out there for this? How does that feel?
I feel very humbled by that, but I feel it's a little bittersweet.
Yeah.
That the issues that that we were fighting in 1976 still resonate today, and I keep thinking about family separation. I think about la víctima, the victims of all of this. And so it's, although I'm very humbled and honored to have been part of that whole movement, it's still bittersweet to me that all of these years, la lucha sigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd have to say, going back, 40 years ago, we did it without reserve. We did it. We just poured our heart out. We just poured it out and let it be. And that's what's still alive, in my opinion. Because, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why should, last year when we produced it, there was so many people that, we're still, as we're saying, having this conversation about immigration, about the wall and ICE and the raids and stuff like that. But why should someone, who's the audience for this play? Who should see this play right now, in your opinion?
The whole world. When we took it to Europe, when we took it to Poland, when we took it to Stockholm, when we performed over there, they also, phenomenal response. And the translations, it had to be done in Polish. It had to be done in our little introductions, because of course you couldn't translate the whole scene, but you could translate the introduction. They responded, the whole world. Yeah.
I think it's a human story, besides, of course, having a very didactic message, and of course, trying to show the tragedy of it all and the love-hate relationship between, Mexico or, South America, Central America, and the United States, and the ties to economy when times are good and times are bad. The scapegoats, who are the scapegoats. But it's woven in with the story of a family, really a couple of families. And we took pieces of our own history and kind of inserted them into the play. And I think that may be something that it's really a lived experience, whether it was the train, having members in the company having had that experience, having that as an experience, our parents, our grandparents' stories, the way that they talk, the dichos, I think it was just, that piece plus the fact that's the story of a family.
Powerful. I think we have Sita on. I'm trying to see if I can bring them on. Let me see.
Finally.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Hola, hola, familia.
Hola.
This is Sita and Ricardo. Is that right?
Hey, Viva Mexico.
Hey.
Yeah, Viva Mexico.
For those that have watched it or have not watched, they were the musicians and performers of the current of the 2010 production revival. And it's you can watch them perform live. Hello and welcome to. Were you able to watch it last night?
Yes, we did.
We enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've never watched myself in theater, so it was very interesting.
We've been having that that same conversation with Evelina in a lot of her plays. You know, she hasn't watched herself perform. How was that feeling?
I'm very bad at watching myself. I've never been able to actually, when people have filmed me, to enjoy my performances. No, I always have to direct myself and think of why, to do it better every time. I think we all do that, though.
Yeah.
How much better we could do it, and we just kind of cringe. But in the moment, we were doing what we wanted, the best that we could do at that moment.
You were fabulous. It was a fabulous
and we grow,
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 210 version that we did was very different from the original concept, because what El Teatro de la Esperanza did is, like Romelia said, made it very portable, just benches and minimal costumes and stuff. So when we did it in 2010, we're going to do it in the theater. We're like, okay, let's go for it. Let's make it big. And we started working with Sita and Ricardo. They had done music for us in another play. And so we said, well, let's invite Sita and Ricardo to be part of La Víctima too. So that's how they became part of it, and took it to a whole different level. So it was great.
We loved it. We loved working with Evelina, Jose Luis, the company, the family. It was great fun, and it was a wonderful experience to work with them, as always.
Yeah. I think it was really powerful. I remember seeing the production and then reminding myself, because I don't know if the original productions had musician and singing, but it was like the presence, right? It's like this host of taking us through this story, which was really beautiful to see again last night. Was that something original in the first show?
We had the music, we had musicians and different actors would sing, but it was so creative and so innovative, the way that it was done in the 2010 version with Sita. It was just, I just went, wow, it was,
thank you.
It was great. It's great to see how
Jose Luis,
It was very creative, very innovative, very fresh. I liked it. Yeah.
I had forgotten about the design of the show. The design. When I saw it last night, I was like, wow, that was a really nice design. The lighting and what we do at the theater, our budget is very limited compared to other theaters. So, we have to do a lot of things with very little money. So I felt like the show looked really, really good. I love the look of it. Yeah.
Yeah. In that, how was, for y'all that have worked with the Latino Theater Company at the LATC or have seen our shows as an audience member, what was that experience? One of the things we've been talking about, we're literally producing 4 things weekly. We have our archival screenings, and then on Fridays we have our readings. But how has virtual theater been for you? How that experience as an audience member? Anybody?
Well, this is my first Zoom. Well,
okay.
It's not even a Zoom.
Right.
It's supposed to be a Zoom. It's not.
Zoom.
No, I haven't done anything. Evelina and them, they know me. I'm very ghosty. No, I don't have emails and all that stuff. Ricardo does. So so I haven't been performing virtually for nothing. No.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go perform in town, just on the street, but now you get fined money, and you can't sing with a microphone.
Yeah.
No. So we're in the studio and just recording and actually doing with Evelina as a writer from La Sistrata, no,
Wow.
Power of the V, and which is important now in drastic measures and things. So for us to do this virtually is very trippy today for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Marta, Romelio.
Oh well, I'm getting used to it. I'm teaching my little 4th graders, 5th graders online,
Wow.
learning how to share the screen so I could annotate and show them there. And yeah, no, it's a learning process. It's interesting though. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, they look forward to seeing you though. Once
I know.
they look.
I want to hug everybody.
We're gonna shut
It's
down.
a strange reality because here you are. I feel connected to all of you, but in a little while, I'm going to push a button and then
Yeah.
I'm all by myself here in this room. So
Yeah.
that feels very surreal. But I'm a Zoom expert. I'm on Zoom from 8 o'clock to 6:30 every day at work. But watching La Víctima, I never watched it that way, on screen, so to speak. It was interesting. It was really, really interesting. It felt different than being in the theater, though.
Wow.
Of course.
It was in my living
when you're
room.
live and you feel the people's.
Yeah.
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 I just, for me yesterday, I have to say that seeing Lupe, took my breath away a little bit, It took my breath away a little bit, and I felt, wow, this is really great. I get to see her act, in this, in this space. So I thought that was, for me, the most touching, she of course does a wonderful amparo, and the actors were just, really great. It's very different for me and Romelia, though, because
I remember.
and we have this vision of how, we visualized it, and I'm sure that Evelina has that whole, that happens to Evelina a lot, when you write something, you visualize it and think of it in a certain way. And so when you see it in another way, it's kind of like, and that's why the Sita, that whole piece was like, wow, they added to it, they built onto it, and they put their own, talents and their own self into it. And so for me, that was, really wonderful, to experience as I watched it last night.
Well, thank you, Mija.
That is great. I just want to remind everybody that you have until September 24th to watch La Víctima on our platforms, youtube.com/Latino Theater Company or the latc.org/live. You can watch it anytime. You can watch a couple minutes, pause it, and then come back. Tell all your friends to watch it. It is free. It's free. It's an amazing thing. It's a play that, as Marta was mentioning, is still bittersweet that we're still living these moments. So I want to thank you all. Is there any last push to tell people why they should see this play?
A ver, Evelina. No, okay. ¡Viva México, cabrones!
What's that?
Evelina, you froze a little bit.
Que viva México.
Que viva México.
Cabrones.
Que viva México, cabrones. Muchos
Thank
besos
you
to all of you.
Cabrones.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what?
Wonderful to see all of
happens?
you.
You know what happens when people watch it? We don't even have to say watch it, because when people watch it, they tell people, "Oh yeah, did you see?" It just spreads. It spreads like wildfire, and it's, you saw the East LA children, the students perform it, packed. So communication, just sharing.
I think it's a great play that can go on for the different generations, like you said, in schools, you know, and preparatorias and universities. It's one of those plays that you're going to be seeing being done over and over again, not by us, but by many others, you know, the young generation.
Yeah.
And I think it's brilliant.
And it's a reference for what happened with Mexico, United States. This is a reference about the immigration. It's a reference about people suffering, the people hungry, the people working, the people being slaveries, and this has a lot of.
Y la familia.
La familia, and it gets you tears out. You know, those moments on the play, they get you tears out. You know, because emotionally, not that I've been there, I've been lucky in my life, but I know there are people that has been there, and they go through these stories over and over. So La Víctima represents that. I mean, it's the real story about what happened and how it happened. And it's a very good, valuable piece of work.
Very valuable. And thank you so much for inviting us to be part of that.
Yeah, Belina.
Yeah.
I just want to say it's our history. It's our historia. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And if we don't tell our history, who will?
That's right. Somebody else will. Yeah.
We don't tell it.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.
Igualmente.
Go watch it if you haven't watched it.
See you.